The action takes place in a Russian maximum security prison called Black Hills. The announcer says that the fight is about to start. Yuri Boyka is cleaning a stinky toilet under the ring when he hears the excited shouts of the audience and recalls his glorious fighting past. Meanwhile, the prison champion, Vladimir Zykov, defeats and kills yet another opponent. The organizer of the underground fights, Gaga, is extremely pleased with his investment, which has already paid off multiple times. He drops 1,000 rubles on the floor and offers the cleaner to pick them up. The fighter rudely refuses the money, and Gaga recognizes the limping, ragged man as the legendary fighter. The next day, Boyka is told that his appeal for a pardon has been denied, and he won't be able to file another one for 15 years. In his cell, Yuri lifts a bucket of water with his injured leg to rehabilitate it. He remembers the fight that turned him from the best fighter in the world into a pathetic prison janitor. Gaga enters the cell and offers Boyka a transfer to a better cell and a job in the prison library. The fighter declines. He doesn't want any favors. However, Yuri asks to participate in the next fight. Gaga refuses, knowing that the injured champion has no chance against Zykov. While Zykov destroys one opponent after another in the ring, Boyka continues training his knee, enduring insane pain. He grabs a razor and cuts his long hair. Gaga plans to take part in a highly profitable project. The announcer declares that the winner of today's fight will compete for freedom in an international tournament. Zykov finishes off his opponent in less than a minute. Yuri douses the giant with water, calling him a fake champion, and challenges him to a fight. Vladimir spits dismissively, but Gaga nods approvingly, and the prison warden agrees to the match. Everyone is sure that Boyka is done for. Yuri rips off his filthy clothes and boldly charges into the fight. Boyka doesn't let his opponent land a single blow. He literally throws him out of the ring, becoming the winner to the shock of everyone around. The fighter is transferred to the maximum security prison Gorgona in Georgia. Inside, he sees 7 more inmates with whom he must battle to win his freedom. Gaga stays in a luxury hotel, although he claims he doesn't believe Boyka will make it far in the tournament. The warden, Cass, orders the contenders to state their names and the crimes that landed them in prison. Dolor, North Korea; Andro Craik, Croatia; Petros Mavros, Greece; Jean Dupont, France; Andrégos Silva, Brazil; Raul Quiñones, nicknamed Dolor, Colombia, who has been in Gorgona for 10 years; and finally, Jericho Jones, nicknamed Turbo, USA. All are serving time for murder, except Turbo, who claims he was framed and doesn't admit his guilt. Cass warns that the prison will become hell for the inmates. Turbo mocks the warden. Cass responds that one more outburst and he'll regret it deeply. At the hotel, Gaga chats with his old friend Gio Farnati when the leader of a Georgian crime syndicate, Rizzo, walks in. The mobster greets the guests and raises a toast to the first international death match championship among prisoners. Early in the morning, guards wake the prisoners and send them to hard labor, hauling massive boulders. Turbo protests, claiming that in America, inmates aren't forced to work this hard.
Don't talk too much.
Turbo tries to attack Yuri, but the guards stop the daring young man. Jones is surprised that Dolor just sits and reads at the top of the hill. After work, Boyka trains in the gym. A little later, Turbo joins him, while Dolor sits in his cell and prays. Cass brings the Colombian a gift from Rizzo, a powerful doping drug. Under its influence, the Colombian easily takes out all his sparring partners, even when they gang up on him. The first fight is between Andrégos from Brazil and Peterson from Greece. Andrégos uses a capoeira move, skillfully dodging his opponent's attacks and quickly knocking him out. In the second match, Turbo faces off against the Croatian, Andro. The experienced boxer Turbo finds weaknesses in his opponent's defense. He lets the Croatian land a few moves, only to take him down with a devastating punch. Yuri's opponent is the Frenchman, Jean. Gaga watches the fight from above. Boyka quickly takes control and crushes the Frenchman on all fronts. After another fall, when Jean tries to get up, Yuri finishes him with a powerful double strike. Limping badly, he leaves the ring, while an elderly inmate watches him with interest. Dolor is set to fight the Korean, Dolor. The Colombian is the tournament's top favorite. The Korean is a master of controlling his body, but against the powerful, doped-up Dolor, he stands no chance. The losers are sent back to their prisons without any hope of early release. However, All 4 are taken to a secluded place and shot, with their bodies burned. The next day, the inmates are back at work, while Dolor rests. Turbo lashes out at Yuri's injured knee and gets hit in the face for it. The two fight, but the guards decide not to intervene, enjoying the show instead. When Boyka starts beating Jones, the guards break them up and throw them into tiny, cold, and damp solitary cells where it's hard to breathe. Turbo continues to provoke Yuri, but the fighter doesn't respond. The cramped space makes it impossible to even sit, and the pain in Boyka's knee causes him incredible suffering. Gaga and Gio bribe the guards to let them talk to their fighters. The inmates tell the men that they're forced to work in a quarry. While Raul cools off on the sidelines, the furious Gaga and Gio rush to the warden, but are met by Rizzo instead. The gangster explains that he rigged everything so that the Colombian would win the tournament. He advises the guests to bet all their money on Dolor. Boyka and Turbo realize they have common enemies and start talking to each other. Jones says he's here to win, but Yuri responds that the main goal is survival. The enemies aren't only in the ring. Many in the prison want them dead. The former rivals even begin training together. Gaga and Gio gather all their savings to bet on the Colombian fighter. The men realize they need an advantage and train hard, even while working in the quarry. Turbo picks some flowers and gives them to Yuri, saying they'll help with his knee pain. Over dinner, Jones confesses that he's in the tournament to get out early, where his son and daughter are waiting for him. Boyka is confident that he's the best fighter in the world and will definitely win. That evening, Yuri squeezes oil from the flowers and rubs it on his knee. Before the semifinals, Gaga and Gio manage to place a huge bet on Dolor. In the first match, Boyka faces Andragos. The Brazilian hits Yuri's injured leg, causing him to writhe in pain. Now Dolor knows his weak spot. Boyka uses a submission hold, forcing his opponent to surrender. The loser is shot immediately after the fight. Rizzo starts to worry about the tournament's outcome. Cass promises to apply more pressure on the rival fighters. The warden provokes Turbo, and when the fighter tries to hit Cass, the guards grab and severely beat him. Yuri hears muffled groans in the corridor and sees a badly beaten Jones in his cell. Boyka suggests calling a doctor, but the American refuses. While Yuri trains in the gym, Dolor enters and promises to destroy him in the ring, but Boyka just smirks. Both furiously punch bags, preparing for the upcoming fight. Despite his dismal condition, Turbo is also getting ready for the battle. On the way to the quarry, Yuri suggests escaping, but Jones is prepared to lose and go home. However, an old man explains that losers here are killed. Boyka swings a sledgehammer at a chain several times, but the hammer eventually breaks. A guard sounds the alarm, and a fight breaks out between the guards, Yuri and Jones. The guards knock Turbo to the ground and beat him with batons. However, Boyka takes out all the guards and frees his comrade. Jones runs into the forest, but Yuri is knocked out by an approaching guard. When the fighter comes to, Warden Cass, Rizzo, and Gaga are standing over him. Gaga admits he bet all his money on the Colombian, not believing that Boyka could win with his injured knee, which infuriates the fighter. Cass announces that tomorrow will be the final fight between Dolor and Yuri. At the start of the fight, it's clear that the Colombian is pumped with steroids. The opponents are evenly matched and exchange powerful blows. Dolor, knowing his opponent's weak spot, strikes Yuri's leg, causing him to scream in pain. The Colombian brutally beats Yuri and then delivers a powerful blow, knocking him out of the ring. Boyka spots a mop nearby and recalls his past, rising just seconds before the referee is ready to call his defeat. Dolor notices blood pouring from his opponent's injured knee and realizes he won't last long. However, Yuri grits his teeth, steals his resolve, and knocks his opponent to the ground. When Boyka takes control, the bosses panic, realizing they could lose a fortune. Yuri blocks Dolor's blow, breaking his leg and causing him to scream in pain. Boyka is declared the winner. Gaga is furious, having just lost $5 million. An enraged Gio shoots Rizzo, and the warden kills Gio. Cass explains to the winner that only one person can get freedom. Turbo becomes him after escaping, and Yuri will be returned to prison in Russia. The warden brings Boyka to the scene of the shooting of the other fighters and presents the barrel to his head. Suddenly Jones appears, shoots all the jailers, and takes the guy to Gaga's car. The cunning Gaga gives a huge share of the winnings to Yura and admits that he bet all his money on him as the best fighter in the world. Boyka says goodbye to Turbo and leaves. Finally, a free man. What do you think of the movie Undisputed 3? Share in the comments. Thanks for watching and see you all again.